The market is having a big day today. It has overcome its low points. We watched the Nasdaq because, for the record, I was short it. I'm not a handyman if you don't know me, and I get really confused by commercials. I have never looked for any of these items in my entire life. Additionally, I've seen advertising for it. Are 3 of those 4 even familiar to you? Due to this, what the? One of them. I understand that. Things that influence you in this way. Suitcase. There are several sockets here. It is related to distance. Is that a thermometer, for instance? It is actually a thermometer. Is it not the thermometer? The problem with distance? The main concept is that, by the way, I used to doubt the idea that others were paying attention to you while simultaneously discussing the Overland Sheep Company. My advertising then appeared out of nowhere, and I said, "Holy F, do you have any knowledge of this skeletal system?" So, in the middle of this device, you could play PlayStation while using your iPhone. I really love that things, though, because of how much I talked about it there. Nicole is currently getting boom, blasted at home. She still does. Yeah, you don't have one, do you? Mine was the wrong one. Long story. Not crucial, but yeah, I'm okay. In any case, it is a crucial day for the market. Why is that? Well, there are a ton of things we can point the finger at, right, Mo? What do you think is causing the issue? Perhaps Trump's NFTs today. What do you think? But Scottie Pippen is a die-hard NFTs supporter. He is quite optimistic about nuts. Maybe a little of that. The retail number, which was announced this morning, has a stronger chance of coming true. According to this argument, stocks are declining because the Fed is continuing to fight against inflation. What that means, I have no notion. Yes, I think they're right when they claim the Fed won't stop raising rates. Powell also mentioned that I want to increase the amount. The major issue for me is that retail stocks were smoking. Markets tanked. The retail sales report that was released this morning is where this major decline largely began. Therefore, why did markets decline following the Fed decision? Investors fled the market. That's what Jim Cramer says, at least. Stock markets stopped their winning streak today. Okay, men. But the point is that there are countless justifications. Yeah, when I mentioned the nuts, I was also kidding. It's just, I guess. It's absurd. The retail sales figures today are perhaps the most rational response. I assume that's when it began. The market declined after they were released. But what about now? And what is that? How come that? 3%. Therefore, that is what I want. I mentioned yesterday that the Fed would be watching the market, and this is what transpired. The market increased. In this manner, the Fed talked and left. What? As in this? Went back to this later. Guys, I said, there was practically a 4% swing from here to here. You can't look at me and say, that makes sense. You're informing me that Apple's value as a corporation has decreased by 4.5 since last night and by 24 hours. That's the issue, though. And it's amusing, you know. Gary is one of the most intelligent value investors I know, so our talk today is humorous. He responds, well, the market is generally fairly rational. I think to myself, I'm taking myself, not in my opinion, no. The market, in my opinion, is never reasonable. Either the pricing is too low or too high. One of those two things applies. You can't always perform at par. Yes, it is impossible to consistently perform at par. Yeah, is it feasible that, assuming this is the value, asking between here and here for the item would be somewhat reasonable? Yes, I understand that. You won't be seated along that line, are you? Yes. We won't be sitting in that queue. You'll proceed in this manner and, for the most part, you'll be in this range where you can sit and declare, okay, you can find good value companies that are quote-unquote overrated and can develop into their values a little bit better. Totally agree with that. To make the data fit, though, we begin to chase the story. I get what you mean. I sit there and say, I don't grasp this, for that reason. So, We are value investors, in case you are new to this and this is your first time watching the video. And one of our main principles is that we don't want to make future predictions. We simply want to examine what. All we can do is hope that we can purchase investments at a price that is lower than what our hurdle rate would need by making fair future forecasts. Therefore, if we want to earn 10%, we strive to attract investments that, based on what the present suggests about the future, will allow us to outperform that 10%. You won't consistently practice it, and the more research you do, the more likely it is that you will uncover the best investments. However, we also think that the market is being overthought too much.